there's this story that I like to share. When I was new here in the States and I went to UCLA Extension for print and broadcast journalism certificate course, my classes were at night, 7 to 10 p.m. My dad would drive me there, and rather than go home, he would wait for me. And while waiting for me, because it's 3 hours at the parking lot, he had his Game Boy with him, and he would play to kill time, but I'm sure he enjoyed it as well. I can't remember that. Right now, he's playing a lot of games. I just don't know what. My mom and my dad get.
Probably Street Fighter.
I don't think it's maybe Tetris even.
Game Boy. Game Boy.
Yes. Eric and Ryan, those are the two representatives of Kababayans in game. They actually have an industry club called Filipinos in Game, which is PIG. Earlier, we talked about the industry, how it's grown. Very interesting story. Right now, Eric, tell us about Filipinos in this industry.
Well, it's a pretty big industry, very diverse. When I started out, I didn't even know a lot of people until I figured out a lot of the people I knew in school are now in games. And each of us have our own story. I started out like 17 years ago in school when I first saw Toy Story, and I just decided I wanted to do that. But back then, there's just nowhere to learn these things.
Right.
There was no internet back then. There was no books that you can learn, no tutorials and stuff. Well, you just really have to find it. You just have to find all of these information on your own because schools never taught it.
Okay, because this is just such a fun industry. Game, of course, game, play. You think of playing. Ryan, is this all about playing? Is this the type where you get paid to play?
No, it's not. I like to refer to it as the grandma's boy syndrome.
Right.
Everybody thinks that you show up to work, you play a game, and that's how a game is made. No, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Okay.
Anything from art has to be created, concepted from the ground up, and then delivered into an asset inside of the game.
Which brings me to my next question. What does a senior artist do?
Well, what I specialize in specifically is firearms. So I create weapons.
Weapons of mass destruction?
I guess you could call it weapons of mass digital destruction.
Digital destruction, okay.
So what I do is I usually go to the firing range. I'll see what new weapons are out there in the world, what kinds of technology is out there in the world, and then I'll draw from that, use that as inspiration.
Okay.
I'll design a weapon that exists in our world, work very closely with the animators, the scripters, and the coders that are going to integrate this asset into the game, and make sure that it is true to life. If we were to create it today, it would exist today.
Okay. Now, Eric was saying earlier how he got into it was when he saw Toy Story. What is your story? How did you get into this?
I wanted to be a Disney animator when I was younger. I wanted to be a traditional 2D animator, but
so you're an artist, right?
Artist,
draw. You draw.
Yeah, we like to think we're artists.
Yes.
Well, you have to be an artist.
You have to be an artist.
Right.
It's all just tools. You have to be an artist first before a game developer.
Do you draw as an art director for Naughty Dog? Do you draw and then that's the concept, or do you work with artists?
Well, we have different departments. We have a concept department, and that's part of being an art director is you have to work with different departments to establish the look of the game. So you have an entire team that's really good in concepting, and so you direct that team to come up with the look.
Art is I like to compare it to giving birth. I mean,
right?
you create an idea, and you culture that idea, and then you give birth to it. And then,
how do we give birth? For people that are watching, in order to be in the game industry, do you have to keep give birth? Do you have to keep playing?
I think yes. In the game industry, you have to be understanding of what's hot out there, what's addictive, what's good, what's bad, what's
it has
fun.
to be addictive.
You're
creating addicts.
Well, it's a game. I mean, you want to progress inside of the game. You want to do better in the game, which is, you lead.
It's a very fast-moving industry, so you really have to have an ear inside what is what is hot in the market. Like when we were doing games back in PS1, we noticed that the audience was very young, and then when we progressed, the audience got older and older, and so our games had to mature.
Right.
Like instead of doing, you'll notice like back then the popular characters like Mario, Sonic were all cutesy. Right. Now it's all getting into like shooters and stuff, and it's because the audience is getting more mature, and they're looking for a different kind of entertainment.
Okay.
You know.
What do you think makes a game click? Why do you think Angry Birds was so big? Why do you think Candy Crush is so big?
Well, those specific games are mobile games. They're easy to pick up. They're very easy to learn, and they take a little while to master. You can pick it up very easily, like you're waiting in line for the DMV, or you know you're waiting in line for something, or you know you're waiting at the airport. You pick up Angry Birds or Candy Crush, and you know it's so easy to get there and play it.
And as an art director, you're thinking about all this.
Well, the word hit is relative. It's like there's many markets in this industry. There's the AAA market, there's the mobile market, there's a casual market, there's MMOs. There's a lot of different markets, and each of these have relatively different numbers as what you would consider a hit and what's hot. Some people don't like that kind of games, you know, and even though it is getting the publicity it is, there are other games where people just love it and play it, but you know, all of them have the same formula. It has to be easy to get and addictive and hard to master.
Easy to get, addictive, and hard to master, so that they'll keep playing.
Yes.
We'll talk about what you guys worked on, because you have some games that we may be familiar with, and that's when we return on the show. Also, tips for the viewers out there, if you want to be in this industry, what's needed. All right, that's when we return. Don't go away.